It's that wonderful time of year when university students are stressing about their January exams, whilst also worrying about where they're going to be living in September. Student accommodation in the UK is incredibly flawed in many ways, and one of them is that most cities you'll be expected to find somewhere that you're going to live for next year really at the start of the previous academic year. It's ridiculous. Just a few words of advice from someone who's done this many times. First of all, do not panic. There is enough housing for everyone. It's not all going to be gone by the end of January. I mean, there are a few cities where this is slightly more the case because there is a large student population and not a very big town. Pretty much everywhere you're going to be absolutely fine, do not panic. And the next thing is just don't feel pressured by letting agents. They want you to look at one house or one flat and say, we better take it or otherwise everything's going to be gone, and just immediately sign up and not really pay attention to what you're signing up to live in. So don't feel pressured, because yeah, maybe the good places will go pretty quickly, but there will be more. They don't all just come up in January, they're staggered throughout the year. Landlords tend to be a bit lazy and often will leave it a bit late to advertise their properties. More will come along. If you're looking around a property and something doesn't feel right, there's probably a reason for that. Go with your instincts, don't ignore it. There are certain red flags to look out for when you're looking around a student house. Damp is the big one. If you can see evidence of damp, then that's what they were unable to hide when you came to look around. If it's bad, lots of black mould, maybe think about skipping out on that one. Another way to spot potential damp issues: have they recently repainted everywhere but done no other renovations? Why would they do that? What are they covering up? Be suspicious. This one specifically has caught me out in the past. That they said, oh, it's recently renovated, we've just repainted, and then all the mould started coming back through the paint. So just be aware of that. Look out for old looking boilers. If the boiler looks like it's older than you are, maybe ask as to whether that's likely to be replaced, or if they've had the recent checks on it that it's all safe. You're going to be in your student house through the winter, the autumn and the spring, the coldest parts of the year. There's a brief bit of summer, but most of the summer you're not going to be there, you're going to be back home. So if the boiler breaks all the time, then you're going to be suffering. I've had that one myself. And another thing to look out for is strange things that they're reassuring you are fine. If you haven't inquired and it's not a typical thing to be told, maybe be concerned. Twice we were reassured that the roof had been inspected and the roof was absolutely fine, and then every time it rained, water ran down my wall. If you want to know more about that, I did a video all about that experience. Now obviously no property is going to be perfect, especially student accommodation. It tends to not be that well kept because students have a tendency to not look after the properties very well, especially because you're only in there a short time and people tend to get quite drunk and break things. It happens, so they're not going to be the greatest places you've ever lived in. So if there is a problem with it, is it something that you can live with? Have a think about it. Is it just a minor inconvenience? There are some places I've lived where they were absolutely great, but there was something about it that was just annoying. And sometimes it's too annoying. I lived in a really nice house that was just a bit too far away from where all the other students were living, and also the university and the city centre. It was just a bit far from everything, and that ended up just being too much of a pain in the butt. But do remember, even if it is absolutely awful and it is the student housing nightmare, you were only there for 1 year. It's basically 9 months of the year, and then you can leave. And if it's really, really, really bad, go to your students' union or go to the council. If it's that bad, the council will definitely make sure it gets sorted out. So that's my things to keep an eye out for. Happy house hunting. I hope you find some good ones, and hope your exams are all going well. And now it's time for everyone's favourite slightly awkward end screen. Here's a video that I've chosen that is relevant to this video. Here's a video that YouTube has chosen from some kind of algorithm that we don't understand. And you can click here to subscribe if you haven't already and want to. It's fine. Do what you want to do.